All right, hey, good morning, everybody. What's cooking? Look at that, we get some people signed on. Let me get everything rocking and rolling on my end. Click, click, click. There I am wearing red. It's it's Hump Day. Somebody just asked me, what day is it, Mike? Mike, 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 Mike. What's up? We got a bunch of drunk donkeys checking in all over the country. Holy cow! I saw Minneapolis a second ago. What are you doing? Checking in on weather in Florida. You ever hear that joke from Minnesota? It says, what are you gonna do this summer? And they said, it depends on if it falls on a weekend or not. Man, so we were chasing snow 3 days ago, and then yesterday it was in the 90s here in Florida. We got high pressure locked in over us, and it's summertime, man. So we're watching the tropics. It's that time of year. Can you believe it? Not officially the season. June 1st is the official start of the season, but believe it or not, we've had a storm every year since 2015. We've had a named storm in 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and maybe 20. So here we go. Let's see some highs, see what everybody's doing. Hey, Terry. Appreciate it. Alderman. Chesapeake, Virginia. Yep. Got a crazy little setup. You need to stick around, Marta, because weird setup. We could have a little energy left behind on the East Coast, North Carolina, Virginia, later into next weekend, following weekend, and possibly have a little something to watch. So I'm going to have a lot of dinging and danging because I got my app people working on something. Had a lot of new app subscribers yesterday. That is awesome. They're resubmitting my app to Apple Store because of the YouTube API I had to add. So be patient on that, but you should be able to watch all these videos on our app. But you can't on Android right now. Apple's rechanged something, so they're resubmitting it. So you might hear some dinging and danging. So there you go. What's cooking? All right. Well, we got a lot of people on here. We're going to talk first and foremost. Thanks to all the fans, all you supporters. As I always say, people ask me the best way to support the website is through Facebook supporters. You get a cool little badge next to your name and get some other perks. I try to post a couple things. If you like a little bit more in-depth stuff, I usually try to post a couple times a day in there just for the supporters because they have their own little chat room. Their own little chat rooms. The supporters have their own little chat rooms. There you go. All right, let's talk about weather. As my app guy is asking me if we're connected. Yes, I better talk to him too. Okay, I got to get this done. So, all right, what is cooking? The NHC just came out with their new update. No big changes. We do have two little spaghetti models. Yesterday we had our first official spaghetti model of the season. Today, the UK Met showing possible tropical formation just northeast of the Bahamas. So, good news is, we got hey, Don, I got my coffee mug too. I'm drinking here right with you. Look at that. Look at that. Where is it? There he is. There's Louie. Coffee only. So there's that. Let's show you the new NHC update. This one just came out. In fact, I'll put the face. Well, I can just leave it like right there. So 8 a.m. 70% chance. Subtropical, tropical Arthur. Possibly, it's going to bring some rain. As we joked with yesterday, we're going to forget about last week's forecast for Florida. The big rains never came, so scratch that. We do have a chance for southern Florida rains, and depending how close this sets up. I just showed the graphic again. Let's go back and look where this is actually at right now. Let's go back to weather models. So here's our big blob that we're watching. This is where it's all going to form. And depending on when this starts to take shape, it's going to slide northeastward and possibly impact more parts of Florida. All right. So my app guy says, you got to bear with me here. Oh, there we go. I got to give them my code because they're resubmitting. All right, it's 498204. So I'm doing 18 things at once here. Luckily, he just messaged me and said a code was submitted to my phone. So there you go. All right, so we're watching this area here. We'll put it in loop mode and see what's cooking. So we got a little bit of lightning. It's definitely taking shape a little bit. And here's the latest couple models we're going to look at. So let's look at Windy, for example. So we're going to look at Windy's map. Well, let's tell you what. Let's look at Tropical Tidbits. It's probably the cleanest of them all. TropicalTidbits.com. And lately, there's been two schools of thinking. This low is definitely going northeastward. It's going to pretty much skirt the East Coast. The GFS and the Euro has been trending a little bit more kind of towards the East Coast, away from Florida. The latest couple GFSs a little bit closer to Florida. This is really the only main impacts we're going to have is wind and big rains. But this is a possibility that we could get some heavy rains in South Florida and the timestamp on this is Friday night. So everything's showing the same general pattern, developing low pressure, possibly named 997. This thing, soaking up the warm Atlantic Gulf Stream waters. Could be looking at, we have a lot of fans of Bahamas. I get frustrated when people get mad when I talk about these other systems because we actually have a lot of fans of Bermuda. We have a lot of fans of Bahamas. A lot of people making trips this weekend probably down in the South Florida. So, it's going to impact some people no matter what. I mean, luckily it's not going to be a major hurricane. Early season systems are usually tropical storms in nature, subtropical storms in nature. A lot of rain, a little bit of wind, nothing to stress too much about. A slow-moving system would be one that you would stress about early in the season with these big, massive rainfalls. But at least this one's going to pull out kind of slow, and we don't have to stress too much about that. So let me get this guy off of my ass here because he keeps messaging me. And I probably should have waited to do this, but there we go. All right, bye-bye. I just gave him another code. Let me make sure that's the one he needed. Yeah, I think so. Okay. So we're trying to update. So the name of the app's Mike's Weather Page. I've had it at three or 4 years now. Hey, Whitney, what's up? Morning. So yeah, it's pretty simple, right, Randy? So there, this is interesting. So let's take a look at so this is Friday into Saturday. Pretty hefty duty rains. Let's look at some, I'm going to look at all kinds of maps. So, if you're new to the site, a lot of this is just thinking out loud. Thinking out loud, showing you all the models, all the maps, all the winds, all the rains. I mean, there's a lot of models to look at. Everybody likes to see all the different possibilities. We usually start out, when tropics get rocking and rolling, we always start out with the official forecast, which is right here, 70% chance from the NHC, and they're pretty high chance it's going to be named. All right, the guy just said, "Thank you. I'm going for a short break. Thank you for your patience." All right, thanks so much. I pay them a lot of money actually. That's why I have to charge for the app because I didn't realize having an app has so many costs involved with it. But so. All right, so let's take a look at some individual, a couple more models. All right, so we looked at GFS. Let's look at the CMC. CMC and the GFS are almost the same thinking. So they're thinking a little closer system to the Florida East Coast. Just a blob of rain. Doesn't really take shape until the weekend. But, and this is going to be spinning counterclockwise. And I was out last night on the water, and holy cow, man, it was so windy here in Tampa Bay. So, we're gonna get these counterclockwise wind flows. So the East Coast, no matter what, is going to get a lot of wind and rain over the weekend. This is Saturday. And depending on how close it gets to the coast, the Outer Banks can also get some high winds and rains Sunday into Monday. And then I got to show you this pattern that we're looking at. Then we'll zoom out of this map and we'll go to, well, this one's not that good. We'll go to my other site. So let's take a look at this. So there's some weird setups going on here. That the Europeans showing. So here's the Euro, bam bam, straight line northeast. Again, no biggie. Going to cross the Bahamas. This is Sunday, Monday, but look what happens here. We get a little bit of piece of energy come across the upper U.S. here, and a little bit gets stay behind, and there's that high pressure that we were always showing forming. This is Thursday, Friday next week. Nothing to stress about, but there's definitely a few models showing leftover energy and possibly a little setup here going into next weekend. Following weekend, we're talking May 23rd. So if you're in Virginia and North Carolina, just, the East Coast here, I'm rewinding here. Our system's going to race off to the Northeast. A little bit of energy is going to come off. They're going to merge. A little piece is going to get left behind. And this is definitely showing up on a few of the models. So actually really showing up on the GFS now. GFS showing 991. So it could be a strong Arthur according to the latest. Luckily, it's going to pass north of the Bermuda, staying right between the gap here. But here's that little bit of energy. Look at that. Could be a little bit of energy going. This is the same time frame. This is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, next weekend. Following weekend. Not this weekend. Following weekend. So that's a secondary system. So we could have a little close call again for the coastal areas. Both of them are kind of staying off the coast. But, coastal residents, winds and rain possibly. So that's an interesting setup. I wanted to make sure I showed before we go rocking. So here's a secondary system. It could be close enough to the coast here that we get rains in Virginia, North Carolina, the eastern seaboard there. And there's possibly Arthur races. So I'm rewinding it here. Here's possible Arthur taking shape over the weekend over Florida. Warm Gulf Stream, which we've seen a bazillion times. Races off, a little bit of energy gets left behind, merges with that frontal action, and then boom, possibly another little system hanging around. So crazy, huh? Let's take a look at some winds. Oh, what's that say? Newly tropical storm. What did that say? Nothing new. Nope. Okay. Thought we had a tropical storm. All right, so let's take a look at the windy app. Let's get a good look at the Florida South here, what we're going to see going into the weekend. So there's your persistent east winds coming in. Don't have to explain that one. That's just as our system bubbles. And our friend Bobby from Hurricane Harbor always says a little baby bump. You can see the isobars starting to take shape here and close off. And there's the Euro. There she starts to deepen right there. And it's a Saturday night, so it's looking pretty confident that we're going to see this little sucker deepen. Here's the GFS. GFS a little closer to the coast. If that takes shape, you can't get too stressed out about. We talk about tropics. The number one thing I see when I post anything from the NHC, where some people get a little nervous. But you got to remember these aren't your Hurricane Michael, Dorian storms. Later in the season storms. This is just a mild tropical storm. Winds and rains, but GFS is looking pretty developed here. It's Saturday night, and if it does take shape here closer to the coast, this is Saturday morning. We're gonna get some big high impact winds. As it starts to develop, nothing major winds. But coastal action for sure. This is, and then you add in the rain and thunder. We'll get the rains coming in. We'll get definite increased rain chances for Florida. So that's that. Let's see. Yep, Sarah, you're right. Windy is just a different way to look at the models. You got to be careful when you click on windy because it automatically defaults to the Euro. And then you can slide on the bottom right here to the latest NAM and the latest GFS. And you can change all your parameters on the side there. So there's that. Let's take a look at some more data on weathermodels.com because we can get a little more in depth here. Christopher, rain chances, man, you know what? It's all going to depend on what angle the dangle Arthur decides to, if possible Arthur, decides to come across the state. So again, we'll look at this one. We'll look at some rainfall precipitation from the GFS from Florida, just to give you an idea of going in time. You can kind of see the progression of our system. And as any tropical system, if you're on the west side of a system, it's usually the dry side. So chances are, if this thing goes a little bit farther to the west, over the Bahamas, we'll show you the Euro. Most of Florida won't get anything out of this. In fact, it'll be dry and windy. But here's GFS rains, almost nothing Central Florida northward. Again, this the last week rains that never happened. I'm not even talking about it. But you could have 5 inches of rain on the other coast. So, intensity, Whitney, yeah, these things take time. We could have this thing strengthen a little bit more over the Gulf Stream. Good news is once it passes Florida and Bahamas, it's just going to be something to look about. So that's, hey, Michelle, that's a far way away. All right, so there's the rainfall for the GFS, and again, the Euro's predicting a little farther more to the east. I have a hard time with east and west. It's still showing some rain though. So there you go. I mean, there's the Euro, and so I mean, again, South Florida, there's a little pocket of rain down in the Keys. You don't want that. What the hell, man? 15 inches of rain? I doubt that. But if you're living down in the Keys, don't look at the latest Euro. I'm talking like 12 inches plus. Wow, that would be crazy. That's just one run though, so we can go back to yesterday's 12Z, and it's going to be different. So every model runs different. The general thinking is obviously South Florida rains, Bahamas rains, and then there's that. So what else you got? What else? Yeah, auto load Casper. Yeah, I do that sometimes, but then it starts running, then it kind of bogs my computer down. Hey Peggy, what's up? Yep, that time of the year. Hey Bella, yeah, Bahamas, Central Bahamas. Did you say Central? Yeah, you're all right. Let's widen this out a little bit. See if we can get the Bahamas on the southeast side here. See if it'll pop up. Boom, boom. Let's see. We'll go. We got all kinds of models. We can go. Well, CMC doesn't show rain on that one, so let's go back. Hang on. Click, 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 click. I'm not sure we can get. And we get some of the Bahamas on there. But Bahamas, boom, look at that. This is Friday night, Saturday, Euro. This is the general area that everybody's watching. So, pretty much everybody in the Bahamas is going to get some pretty heavy duty rains. South Florida. There's that little pocket of rain over the Keys, but it's coming. Bottom line, Thursday, this thing's going to start getting close. I mean, we talked about this last week. The front's going to back up. It's happening. So you're going to have off and on rains all the way through. It's going to really start picking up tomorrow. And, bottom line is we're going to have rains inching their way up through the middle part of the state through Saturday. So if you got Friday, Saturday plans in Florida, Central Florida South, I mean, you definitely need to pay attention to the weather, bottom line. Sunday could be out of here. It looks like it's out of here on Sunday. So, and it really, I don't think the East Coast, other than winds, some waves, maybe swell event. Here's your wave forecast. This is going through the weekend. There's some big waves. Red is 22 foot wave height max. So there's your waves. Yeah, this is through Saturday. This only goes out 90 hours, but it'll be a coastal event for sure. Winds and waves. I mean, you got persistent East Coast winds. This is through weekend, so. You surfers out there. You don't have toilet paper, Heather. That's a problem. I want to read y'all's comments. That's what fuels this thing, right? So, it's 2 weeks ago we were talking about stalled front energy. It was a week ago Wednesday. Last week's front that came through Florida trickled its way around, got into this weekend's front that ended up bringing our snow that I got to chase. And now that same energy is lingering here. So technically, this is Wednesday's front last week. Came around, got pulled up by the weekend front, and now I got pushed back down, and now it's going to possibly spin up into Arthur, and then it's going to get pulled up to the East Coast, and then it's going to merge with an oncoming front going into next weekend and possibly linger around off the Carolina, Virginia coast. Crazy. What's up, Whitney? Surf's up. Yep, rain for Venice. Ah, David, there's a slight chance Friday, Saturday. Let's look at some higher rain totals. Just the official rain map. So we'll take a look at the official rain forecasts from National Weather Service, which uses a lot of blends. But there's, this is what we could be seeing through Monday. Steady 2 inches along the whole southeast part of Florida. So this is one official site, and there's our I-4. We always joke about everything on Florida's I-4 south or I-4 north. I-4 south is your best chance of rain, and it all depends on where that low gets pulled up. So again, the GFS is definitely a little bit to the east of the Euro. So, heck yeah, James. I didn't really change much. We still have, hey, you got your shirt. Cool, Diane. Awesome. No, we still got the old Drunk Donkey shirt. I got a little link here underneath my YouTube channel. Remember, YouTube got a live page. It's not on right now because I'm not streaming on YouTube right now. But there's our weather page store. There's a link to it. And the only new shirt I got this year was the hurricane season shirt, which has gotten pretty popular. So I like it. It's got all the names on there. Your 2020 official hurricane tracker. Bring it on. Everybody likes that. Bring it on. So there it is. Get a Louis cup. Yeah, Louis over there snoring. All right, let me read some comments. What you guys are saying. In a nutshell, I mean, preseason action, we've had a system every year since 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19 now. Water temps creeping back up. It bounces around. It was 82, now it's 78. But there's the general temps. Anomalies are down a tick. Water cooled off a little bit. Take a look at the NASA map here. There's our signs of La Nina possibly coming for the Atlantic side. The Pacific's cooling off a little bit. There's our hot Gulf. We'll leave that up there. So, what's up? All right, anything else? Got to have one. There you go. Hey, Jim, what's up cooking, man? No toilet paper in stores. Yeah. I saw, we were at Old Smoky Moonshine. In fact, I got a sticker. Check this out. So, I took Emily for a 2-day trip, man. I left Friday and we got home Sunday for Mother's Day. But I got Old Smoky Moonshine sticker. And then we got Old Smoky sticker. That was our snow chasing trip. Man, it was fun. Hey, Bill, the water is warmer. Definitely hot. It's 2 to 3 degrees on average, I believe I read right now. Currently, this data is over the weekly. We can go monthly. Let's go monthly. See, monthly temps give you a little better idea because it indicates how deep the hot water possibly is, because it's really the depth of the hot water that really fuels these hurricanes. But if the Gulf is running 4 to 5 degrees Celsius above normal. Anything orange is 2-3 degrees Celsius above normal. White's neutral. That's compared to on average. So it's been roughly, this whole main development region has been a little warmer than average, and doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean guarantee for anything. It just means the Cape Verde season could start a little earlier with a warmer Atlantic. Let's see what else we got. Koozies, yeah, Cindy, we do. Koozie. Everybody loves koozies. Hey, Katie, what's up, Emoji Girl? All right, so there's that. Anybody else? Let's see. We're just, let's see. Here's today's storm threats. Pretty good. Remember, we got a high pressure blocked in over the south and the east right now, and we've had persistent storms across Texas. Today they extend a little farther to the north. Little slight tornado risk, wind and hail. Hail for sure. Man, they get a lot of hail this time of year. So the hail hatched area for today. Day 2, there's our threat spinning around in the north. That's all because we have a high pressure system kind of locked in over us right now. Here's our lingering front in Florida. And it's going to linger around for 3 days. This is Wednesday, Thursday. Here's Friday. There's our lingering front. And then the rain's creeping into the Florida peninsula. So even the official rain map here is showing those rains trickling northward. So Friday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, going to be interesting for Florida. It's going to be windy. Here's your official 5-day rain map. Again, southeast Florida. Even the global tropics hazard map actually showed our area now. This is the familiar red and white tropical storm development likely, or it says moderate chances of tropical development. So there you go. First time we see one of those this year. So, hey, just let you know the season is upon us. This map hasn't really been updated very well this year. And I added a couple new links to the site. Vertical instability, vertical shear here. Some of you geeks out there that like that kind of stuff. Laredo, yeah, it could be a longer Cape Verde season. I mean, if the Atlantic's a little bit warmer, then for sure. I mean, here's Africa booming, storms. I mean, it's too early. We get a lot. See all these fronts that come down. These are leftover fronts. They'll pull up and suck up everything from Africa. But once these fronts start coming down, then these have a better chance of making their way across the Atlantic. That one's pretty healthy. But it's, July, I think, is the earliest. We've always showed it. But if you look at climatology, that's tropical tidbits. Let me see. Past tracks. No, that's not the one. I always have a hard time finding. Oh, man. Where is it? I have to find it. NHC. I always lose it. Storm history, maybe? There we go. No? I don't know. I'll find it. All right, what else is good? Hey, I'm back, Jan. Yep. No, it's never too early, Debbie. This is what we love, man. We love tracking storms. The NHC just updated. Again, if you're just tuning in, this is their latest update at 8 a.m. this morning. So the official season doesn't start till June, but we're in May. Aaron is great. Yeah, Levi's great. I'm more... Hey, what's up, AJ Folsom Prison Dude? I have to show you my 8-track I have. I have an 8-track of Folsom Prison Brews. It's orange. For my old Mustang. The 8-track needs a little work. I've taken my 8-track apart a few times and it struggles. It's like I have to wiggle it just right to make it work. But yeah, Levi's great. He's more of a scientist. I don't know. I always feel like I'm more like the communicator. The great communicator, putting out the word, putting out all the options. So let's look at Levi's site just for fun. All right, so all the different scenarios of what we're watching. Real quick, I guess I need to do this every time. This is kind of what everybody likes. So here's the GFS. We'll go through all the models real quick. We're going to watch our little system get pulled up. See, this high pressure pulls away, allows our system to get sucked up. Here we go. This is the GFS. And again, GFS is closer to the Florida East Coast, and that's going to change the weather a lot. So that's the only variable that we have for Florida is how close this thing pulls up. But the GFS deepens it pretty good, 991, 990, 988. And then a little piece here comes off behind, and there's a slight chance we could be looking at Bertha. Doubt it yet, but you never know. We'll look at some ensembles here in a minute, but there you go. All right, so let's rewind it. Here we go. Let's go to the CMC. CMC has been a little closer to Florida's coast before it finally treks on out of here. And then there's that little piece of energy coming across, kind of spins it up. So, not sure really what that is. It's kind of more of a leftover piece of energy. All right, so there's that one. We can look at the Euro. Euro's a tick to the east. Boom, boom, boom. There it goes. And then that little piece stays behind. And, Euro doesn't really have a deep and much 1,009 millibars. Let's look at the Navy model. Navy model pulls it up right here, a little closer to the coast. But remember, most of the heavy stuff's always to the east side. So it would have to get really close to Florida to get, major winds and rains. And there's the short run of the Navy. Straightens it up a little bit, though. And then we'll look at the Icon. Icon's been pretty consistent. Kind of showing it come up. So, very pretty lock solid. All right. No Bertha. Taylor, that's way out there. Let's look at some ensembles. But I saw a few posts today on Twitter talking about Bertha, but let's worry about Arthur. Bertha so far doesn't even look like something to worry about. But it's more of a low or frontal low than anything else. Molly Hatchet. Yeah, I know Molly Hatchet. Hey, Aaron Jackson. I remember that, man. I had a friend that had one of those big old cabinets, speakers, and you had a box for everything. I remember cameras. I remember video cameras. Who the hell uses video cameras anymore? I don't know. All right, so let's take a look at Atlantic. Oh my God, what a cluster! All right, so here's all the ensembles for the Euro. This is Euro ensembles, and then as we get down in the week, it's kind of hard. And it's a lot of spaghetti. It's kind of hard to look at. This one's a little bit easier. This one breaks it down by time, so we can look at it this way. So here's our. We haven't seen any yellows or oranges yet. So the Euro ensembles are definitely, higher percentage for tropical storm, 40, 45, 50%. So the Euro, definitely getting more energized as far as possibilities. And then we can do later in the week. And there's really nothing showing up. So that secondary thing, again, I wouldn't. Other than Rainmaker, possibly for Carolina and Virginia, it's not worth talking about right now. So anyway, yep, we're all old. Surfside, Publix, nobody's got ramen noodles. Yeah, so long range after that, there's really nothing, anything long range. We look at these dying fronts. CMC was showing this crazy energy coming out of Texas yesterday. Still kind of showing it here, but could bring some Gulf rains through the next week. But the CRC, it's been pretty consistent with that. A little bit of energy. It looks like a little face right there, doesn't it? A little morbid looking. Hey, surf's up, Patricia. Yeah, I know it's very rough. Well, we're getting right now. Currently, we have a strong high pressure blowing in the winds. Strong East Coast winds right now for sure. It was blowing in Tampa Bay last night tremendously. I could not believe it. We took a little ride out on the bay. It was so windy. I mean, it was like crazy winds. So here's your, persistent East Coast winds. I mean, these are sustained winds across Florida right now. 20s, it's sustained. So it's pretty, this is wind alert, but we're getting a strong East Coast flow wind today along the whole eastern coast of Florida here. And that's that high pressure locked in. Pretty strong south. Really, this 24. Look at some gusts, 26. Squalls out on the water. South Carolina coast. What's up, Jeff Coate? Mary? This thing isn't going to affect you guys much at all other than wind through the weekend. So, whatever forms out this way is going to go pretty much northeast. I mean, if it pulls up a little closer, then yeah, you might get a little more chance for winds, some squalls, but that's the GFS thinking. But CMC's been doing it too. So we'll zoom in closer to the East Coast for our South Carolina friend. So we'll take a look. It's not a high resolution one, but you get the idea. So even if the GFS is right, it's going to be a really close skirt to getting anything for South Carolina. Maybe the Outer Banks. Definitely winds again. I mean, if this thing strengthens, 997, we're gonna have rains and winds coming in off the Atlantic. There's there's our possible wind field. So the Outer Banks will get some winds, 30, 40 knots maybe, gusts, as it scoots on by. It boots Scoogie by. Hey, Amy. Oh, my goodness. You're from, Abaco. That's, I don't, I don't know about worrying down that way yet. I mean, this is not developed. So I don't think it's anything, more than what you guys are used to down there as far as regular, storms goes. So I mean, I'd pay attention, but it's going to need time to develop, and right now, it's not going to be developed other than just winds, normal winds with normal, storms that you guys probably normally always get. So I've seen it. We got to zoom in the Bahamas here. We can look. But, it's not going to strengthen until it passes you guys. So hopefully nothing other than just rains, normal rains. And that would be good. So, I don't know. I'm trying to see if there's any new links. Worried about wind, but, even the Euro is not showing any development till north of you guys, down in Abaco. So, if it was me, I wouldn't stress too much about it. Just stay alert. Hey, Carl, Friday's weather for Clearwater. Thanks, Joe. Outer Banks, keep an eye on it. Has anybody watched Outer Banks? I tried. I couldn't get into it. I guess it's the hottest thing on the Netflix right now. So Florida, yeah, again, I mean, we can go out 90 hours. We could take a look. So anybody in Florida, I mean, I would almost bet southeast Florida is going to get some rain. Keys for sure. It's probably going to start today and tomorrow. Light rains as our front backs up. Friday's the bigger stuff, and then depending on how close our low pressure decides to develop off of. So here's the rains down here brewing. You can see them already. See it backing up. This is current radar. All this is going to start trickling north. And then as far as who gets what, again, it all depends on if it stays farther off the coast or not. So there's a chance from Central Florida south you could see rain Friday. For sure. Farther west you go into the state, though, less and less chance because, again, any tropical system pretty much pulls everything with the heavy stuff to the east side. So Florida probably on the west coast isn't going to get much. We'll look at it again. See if the NAM goes out 90 hours to it goes out 60 hours. So that would take us into possibly the 12Z's running now. So let me go back to 60. And we barely get into Friday. Friday 1 o'clock. So here's the rains. Thursday night. It's 6 p.m. This is 10 p.m. Thursday night. Tomorrow night. So you can see the rain start trickling up. Here's Friday early morning. So the big stuff tomorrow night starts to trickle in. And there you can start to see the flow. You can start to see an eastern flow as our system starts to wrap up. And there's our rains trickling in at 7 a.m. to 7 a.m. on Friday. And then 1, 2 o'clock on Friday. So, again, if this thing sets up a little to the east, all this is going to end up on the west coast. If this thing ends up where the Euro says, then we're not going to get much as far as Florida goes on this side. Southeast for sure, I think, no matter what. So Euro look, like I said, the heavy stuff south. Most of the stuff stays just Central Florida eastward. This is Friday. This is Friday, 7 a.m. on the Euro. I mean, it's not high resolution or nothing, but you get the idea. It's like Saturday. So Friday to Saturday, the heaviest stuff stays, south and the East Coast, and then it disappears by Sunday. So Sunday is a nicer day out of everybody's models for sure. Wind, if you're boaters, It's going to be a gusty Friday. So no boating Friday. And Saturday. Sunday things lighten up. So Sunday is definitely the better day out of the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So, what's up, Cindy? What I miss? Tiger King. Yeah, Tiger King was a little odd. I love the meme with the one dude's teeth where it said 1 plus 1 equals, and then it had his teeth too. Max, I don't know about that one. And then for you country fans, NASCAR fans, you just mentioned OBX isn't filmed in OBX. I have never been more upset with Eric Church's Talladega song where it was not filmed at Talladega. I mean, whose harebrained idea was that to film a song called Talladega at another racetrack? That's Hollywood goofiness. All right, so what else we got? Any more questions I can look at before? It's already been an hour, so there you go. No big changes from what we've been looking at. Sandra, no nervous. Hey, listen, there's no point. You just never know. I mean, Hurricane Andrew was late in the season on a slow year. I mean, you just somebody brought out a point. I don't know what year it was, but one of our strongest La Nina years, we only had 4 or 5 hurricanes that year. So the season could be a bust. I mean, it could be everything could stay out to sea. I mean, we don't know. You just don't know. That's why everybody likes the tropics. You don't know. As much as people think they know, you don't know. Every storm has done something that they didn't predict. Irma was supposed to go along the East Coast, Florida, and went to the West Coast. Harvey wasn't supposed to be a 5 and stall. I mean, Michael was not even a tropical storm 3 days out. I mean, so every storm's got a story for sure. And Telford Holmes, hey buddy, yeah, can you believe it? NASCAR, they got some weird rules. I guess pit crews are different. I have not followed what the rules are going to be, but they've changed a lot of the rules. I don't know. I don't even think they got pit. I don't even think they're going to have pit road or something because they want a social distance, which. The amount of gear that those guys wear, and hey Aaron, yeah, how about that? I love the flyovers. The years that they didn't do the flyovers was awful, but I don't know. Those gas men breathe enough gas that I'm sure they could handle probably anything. But that's the way it goes. I'm just hoping our girls get to start playing sports again, softball, and I hope things get back to normal quick. But they're not. In my opinion, we'll have two schools of thought on all this. We're going to have those that don't care and want to live, and we're going to have those that do care and want to live. So, I mean, it's a tough spot to be in. And that's why you live every day to your fullest, because you never know what tomorrow can bring, right? Right. All right, every storm's got a story, Amanda. Yeah, there's a song like that. Rod Stewart. Every picture tells a story. Casper. Yeah, Casper. That's a good point. And what I've been learning, with the NHC and everybody is they don't make knee-jerk reactions. And they want to see a lot of model consistency. The problem with today's world is that we get models coming out literally I could set my clock and every 30-40 minutes there'd be a new model that we can watch, and people want information now, and waiting every 6 hours, things change quick, and I think slow reactions sometimes in today's world is a little. Knee-jerk reactions aren't good. Sometimes you can't. So it's a bad spot they're in because of what the heck is that? We're not caring about where the hell's that. No tropical storms in middle U.S. Whitney, yes. Intensity is impossible to Here, let's get back to the tropics here. All right, let's just play this one. Trying to do all this fancy stuff here, and then we'll loop it. All right, anything else? Let's see, guys. Let's see. Yeah. Michelle Lewis. Yep. Emergency management. That's gonna be rough. You know. Yeah. Here. All right. So here's all the ensembles from the Euro, and it's always neat to watch. These are all the different plots. Look at that, and you can see the general thinking of all the different European. And here's that crazy little bit of CMC action that we saw. Actually, some of the Euros are picking up a land cane coming out of Texas, but these are the general ensemble plot. And this is not an invest yet, I don't believe. And when it's not an invest, we don't get spaghetti models. Hey, Aaron. Yeah, we love watching the parade come in. That's it's always a big tradition. Gary, the direction of the system is northeast. It's brewing underneath the Florida right now. It's a stalled front, and we've always talked about these tails of fronts. It seems like every year that's how we get our first system. So it's lingering down here right now, and it's slowly going to get pulled northward, and it's going to enjoy that warm Gulf Stream water, and it's going to get a chance to wrap up. Subtropical, tropical, regardless, it'll be possibly named Arthur. So this is a good site. This is Weather Nerds. Also another great link on Levi's site are the ensemble plot for the GFS, and you can look at the different points of where formation is expected, and you can see the big high cluster right here of the GFS. So the GFS is definitely a little bit farther to the west of the Euro, and this is all the GFS ensembles. So all this really means is how much Florida is going to get, and Bahamas you're going to get regardless. You're going to get rains, but as far as Florida goes, the closer this starts tightening up on your East Coast, obviously the weather is going to go downhill. So farther this thing goes out here, obviously less rains and winds. Closer to the coast, more rains and winds. So that's about it. And if you got weekend plans, this is Saturday morning. So Friday, Saturday look pretty rough down here, lower half of Florida, East Coast. And then by Sunday it rolls out. Anybody on the East Coast, Carolinas, Georgia, all you're going to feel is some winds and effects. And here's long range, bunch of pretty colors. Hey, Sean. Yeah, I remember that. That was that weird land cane. You're right. What the heck was that? We were watching that one. God, you got a good memory. I forgot all about that. Yeah, it had a mid-level vorticity, and it came out. The models. You're right, man. Good point, Sean. I learned from you guys. So the CMC has been showing this vorticity mid-level. So the storm last year, I got to look it up, but we had mid-level vorticity, and it came down. And you're right. That was crazy. I remember tracking it with everybody. And this is what the CMC's been showing. Actually, yesterday it showed a little stronger signature here, coming down across through the middle U.S. Here it is right here. In fact, that might have been overnight a little more. They've all been consistent. See, this is the CMC showing it exiting, and then boom. So that was a couple days ago. It's not now. This was 2 days ago run, but the CMC was definitely showing this thing popping down in the Gulf. Currently, it's not, but it did. There it is. There's leftovers of it. So, I mean, and the Euros kind of showed the same with the ensembles. So we do have energy coming through. This is early next week into middle next week. So middle next week we could get a little juicy here in the upper Gulf, no matter what. So two weird scenarios after possible Arthur passes. We get a little leftover energy behind. Around the Carolinas, Virginia, then we get a little midweek energy from that same frontal system that pops off in the upper Gulf. So, but nothing named, just interesting weather to watch for. So there you go. Land came, Barry. There you go, Casper. Boy, see, I kind of move on to the next storm. I'm terrible with memory on storm names. Yeah, Dorian had everybody on edge, Robert. It was terrible. We've got a lot of friends in the Outer Banks of Dorian, Ocracoke. They kind of got forgotten. once Dorian decided to go north, everybody got relieved, but Outer Banks still had a big system to deal with, and same with Irma. I hear stories all the time with Irma, man. Brunswick and Savannah and Charleston and Jacksonville, they had a big storm surge because Irma was such a huge system. And people forget they were so focused on landfall that they forgot that the storm was actually, so big that it impacted more than just the west coast of Florida. I mean, there's a graphic, but anyway. All right. So I'm sure the girls are out in the driveway waiting on me. Snow Cane, what's up, Kelly? Key Largo, yeah, you got some big rains coming, Kelly. Could be some big rainy action starting maybe later today, but definitely tomorrow through the night and then Friday for sure. So, hey, Matt. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit earlier. There's a weird setup coming out of. So if we do get an Arthur, so our folks on the East Coast, what's odd is that we're seeing next week as Arthur spins by. Well, that's kind of hard to see on that one. But as Arthur spins by next week, we have another piece of energy. This is Arthur. Well, it's not Arthur yet, but if it is Arthur. Leaves behind a little bit of energy here. This is Arthur's going to be long gone way up here. There's Arthur, but all the models are showing a little piece of energy coming across and hanging around. Right here. This is secondary. This is next Thursday, Friday, next week, and they've all been showing it. GFS and Euro are exactly the same. Look at that. That's the GFS. That's the Euro, and then even the CMC is showing something similar time frame a little earlier. But look at that. So all three are showing a secondary low pressure system developing off the East Coast next Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So we'll see what it does on that. Cool. All right. Well, hey, thanks so much. We still got 400 people watching. That's great. 'Tis the season. We do this almost every day. 9/19. I'll do a replay at noon. A lot of people like to fast forward it. That way you can fast forward it and rewind. It'll be on YouTube, and I post on Instagram. Thanks to all the new app users. Hopefully they resubmitted our app so the YouTube videos work. It's kind of neat. You can watch it. I got a cool live Twitter feed on my app also, which I love the live Twitter feed because it updates in real time all the weather stories. I have it on the site too. But I added this Twitter feed that constantly updates fresh weather graphics. So kind of cool, right? All right, here we go. We'll do it again tomorrow, and I'll be posting all day. So thanks for tuning in. We'll watch any NHC updates and see if this thing becomes an invest. And so far, let me check out models real quick. South Florida water management models, and it's not yet. So we'll see. All right, be good. Thanks everybody so much. We'll see you soon. Have a good day. See you, Dayton. See you, Cindy. See you, Asmi. Patricia. ABC, the one for me. Yep. And I need some more caffeine. Hopefully the girls went to Starbucks so I can drink my $18 iced coffee. Bye.